Right, that's acetone there. Cleaned off the handles and stuff. There's a lot of resin inside the rollers. I'm gonna leave them soaking there for a bit, as well as the ends of my scissors. I cleaned the handles with the scissors as well. There's bits of fluff that came off the handles. Yeah, acetone works great. Just be careful with it. Right, it's the next morning. Here's the moment of truth. Will this come off? I got it off. Gave it a pretty good scraping. Do a little bit more in some spots. If you're going to use this method, I recommend allowing more time to do it all in one day, and that way this stuff will stay, the clay will stay pliable. I used a vacuum to get all the little bits and pieces out of the crease. If you try and blow it, it might go under the mold, and then you'll have issues when you go to make the new body. Yeah, I'm just gonna try and get these off. Little bits of resin. I'm gonna put tape all along there to help prevent this. Doesn't really matter on the flange. It'd be better if it wasn't there, but it doesn't really matter. Doesn't matter. So when you go to lay your new flange up, so you'd have your wax, your PVA, and then your gel coat goes up against that, and then your fiberglass against it. It should imprint on the new flange all of this information, and then it'll help when you go to bolt it together. It'll help it line up and lock into place. I know that this stuff will come off super easy. And that's ready for, that's just where the sticky tape was. It made it super smooth, just like along here. It's got a few little burrs and stuff. I might give it a light sand just so I don't get stabbed by it. This come off super easy. That's why I like using this stuff as walls and things that had no release wax or PVA or anything on it. Just peeled straight off. It's sort of stuck to the table, but I used this stuff again, so it will come unstuck just like that. Before I can release this mold from the boot lid, I will need to trim it. and that'll be pretty easy. Just trim it back to the edge, all the way around. Easy peasy. When you're cutting this stuff, always use breathing protection and a full suit if you can, because this will make you itch to no end if you get the dust on you. Yeah, progress. I'm happy. Okay, I've just trimmed up the boot lid. I've discovered some issues. You see down there, and it's not touching the gel coat in some spots, and a lot along here, and in there. It's not touching. And that is an issue, because if it's not touching the gel coat, it's not going to come with it, and it'll be, if it does come with it, it will be very brittle. So I'm going to attempt to fill up some of those with resin. Hopefully it works and it just doesn't make a massive mess, but it probably will. I wish I'd have known about it before I trimmed all this stuff off. I used air saw and grinder. Here's that bucket I was using. The resin's gone off. Look at that. Easy peasy. As I put the sellotape, made walls all the way around. So I'm going to try and pour the resin into the cracks, and then I'll use the air saw as a vibrator, and it will help it seep in there. It doesn't matter if it goes in here. Yeah, the sellotape's just there as sort of like I can pour against it. So I'm not just trying to pour blindly. I'll work my way around it, and with any luck I'll be able to fill up all these gaps. Because otherwise this mould will be a failure and I'll have to try again, which I don't want to. So I'll get some resin mixed up and pour it in there. Got the resin poured into the crack. All these little swirly marks are from the air saw here. I poured it in with a paper cup. After it's gone off, I'll hit it with that flappy disc and unlatch it, because at the moment the resin's sort of folded over, a waterfall type thing, and I got to break the seal as it were. These paper cups are great because they're cheap, they're flexible, and I was using these are paint mixing cups. I don't want to be wasting those because they cost, you know, about $1 each, whereas they're like 5 cents each. But yeah, it should turn out good. All right, I released this mould today. I just used these tile wedges and a soft hammer after I cleaned up all the edges. There it is. I noticed there's a little bit of gel coat missing here, which is fine, it's easy to fix. And then I just got to clean up this edge a bit. Just all from where I poured the resin into the crack, that's all that is. So there's a slight overhang here, which is what I wanted. So, you know, when you lift the boot lid up, this part here is the bottom, you'll see gel coat there, and that's what I wanted. I didn't want you to see a raw edge like that when you lifted the boot lid up, even though you will see it here, but that's all good.